Hello, and welcome back to the Sober Scoop. Today we're going to be talking about how in sobriety you are given the gift of time. It is in some ways a gift and in some ways a curse. A lot of people have messaged me saying that they are burdened by the extra time that sobriety gives you. And so there are pros and cons, and there are different ways to spin it so that you can see it in a positive way. So, without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Welcome to the Sober Scoop. This is a judgment-free zone where we talk about how to get sober and stay sober. You're not alone. I hope you feel seen. Quitting alcohol is the best decision I've ever made. So, the gift of time, yes, it is funny because you're not actually increasing the amount of hours in a day. That's impossible. But with the 24 hours that we have in a day, you are just spending them so differently and you're not wasting so much time drinking. So it really does feel like you are given a whole extra day. I mean, even right now, I'm about to celebrate a year of sobriety. Very exciting. And I feel like I'm still adjusting to the fact that I have a full work day, not to mention a little bit of time before work to work on personal stuff. And then it's like you have a full day after work, like a whole life to have. And the old me, like the moment work was done, or sooner than that, if you know what I'm saying, I would drink every single day after work. And so it was like I would work, and then immediately my day is over because I've started drinking and I am in relaxation mode and I'm not going to be doing anything. So my day was just those kind of 8 hours during the main chunk of the day. But when you're sober, you have those 8 hours plus the whole rest of your life. I mean, it's actually wild to think about. Sometimes I feel that work can take over our lives, or school. I remember when I was in high school and stuff, it's like, okay, you wake up super early, you go to school, and then there's nothing left. There's no time left in the day. But really, if you're getting off at 3 or 4 p.m., you have from 4 until 10 to do whatever you want. That's a whole extra day you get, which is pretty cool if you ask me. So I've made a video about this before, just talking about how much time we're given in sobriety and how beautiful that is. And several people have said to me, I don't look at that as a good thing. That's actually the thing that I'm struggling with the most, is that I have so much time available to me and I don't know how to fill it anymore. And let me just say that in the very beginning of my alcohol-free journey, I felt that big time. I was like, the days are so long. I will have worked on my side projects, worked on my main work, worked out, done some yard work, gone on a walk, gone out to dinner, and still be like, I have extra time. It's crazy, that adjustment in the very beginning of sobriety, because I just used to not even consider the second half of the day to be part of the day. It's like whatever I wanted to accomplish in the day, I had to do it between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. And that's it. That's the only time I would get things done, because I would start drinking immediately after that. And for me, my day was just kind of done at that point. I mean, I was in chill mode. There was nothing you could do to convince me to go for a workout after I've started drinking, or do something productive. Let's say, okay, actually, I did try to start a podcast before this one. I used to have a podcast. It was called The Business of Beauty. And I was a model for a long time. So it was about actually the economics and finances behind beauty-based industries. So I would interview makeup artists, dancers, models, OnlyFans people. It was cool. But one of the reasons that I could not stay consistent with that podcast, I believe, is because of my drinking. If I started to drink, there was no way in heck I was going to sit down and film a podcast episode. First of all, I was self-conscious that I would be slurring my words, but also, like, my day was done. I couldn't do work or be productive after I had cracked open that first drink. So my days were just shorter. It's crazy because while I'm sitting here recording this episode, it is 11:48 p.m. And today, after work, I built an entire dresser that I had painted the 2 days prior. It took me what I considered all evening, and yet here I am also recording podcasts in the nighttime. I mean, thank God I am single and living alone at the moment, because I do find so many ways to fill my evenings. I'm just doing so many things between my main work, my side projects, my passion projects, hobbies, all that stuff. It does take up a lot of my time. But what I was saying was, you would have never caught me recording a podcast episode at 11:48 p.m. when I was a drinker. I would have already been drinking for 7 hours. And also, I was not a night owl at all when I was a drinker. It was kind of like a joke in my family that I always fell asleep during movies. I was, in bed by 8 or 9 p.m. And you know why? It's because I was passing out from the booze. I drank every night until I fell asleep, like until I passed out. That was my routine. I drink all night or all evening, fall asleep on the couch watching TV, and then around 2 a.m., when my body naturally wakes up every single night, I move myself to the bedroom and finish my sleep in there. Not a great sleep routine, but now I would say that I kind of am a night owl. I don't like to stay up super late, but I usually go to sleep around 11 p.m. or so, maybe midnight, on a regular basis. And that's because I'm not drinking myself to sleep every single night. So I go to sleep when I actually get tired, when my body is actually ready to sleep, not just to veg on the couch and then pass out from the substance that I am consuming. So it's wild. But anyway, back to this subject of time and it being a blessing and a curse. So yeah, a lot of people consider this extra time that you feel in the beginning of sobriety to be a negative thing because it causes a lot of boredom, and boredom is very triggering to drink. Loneliness and boredom for a lot of people are major triggers. And so, yeah, you're given all this extra time. You're not drinking away your evenings anymore. You have to sit there with your own thoughts, with your own company, and that's all a bit overwhelming in the beginning. But have no fear, okay? If you are going through that or you're nervous about going through that, I promise you it will get better and you will be so grateful for the extra time you have. Yes, it's a little bit hard in the beginning, I will admit. But my biggest tip is to just stay busy. You're only going to feel that boredom and restlessness and like emptiness, abundance of time. You're only going to feel that in the very beginning. So in my opinion, embrace it. I don't know how I had the wherewithal to like foresee that it was going to all be okay when I was first getting sober, but I did have that knowledge. I knew that that feeling of having an abundance of time was only temporary. I just knew it. Somewhere inside me, I said, this is a temporary thing. I think knowing that everything that I was feeling was temporary was a big key to my success. I really do feel that way. Like the hyperactivity and restlessness, I said to myself, this is going to mellow out eventually. The not being able to fall asleep, I thought this is going to get better eventually. And yeah, the boredom, hyperactivity, not knowing how to fill your time, I knew somewhere deep inside me that that was going to get better too. And so I said to myself, heck, let me just embrace this time in my life where I do have a ton of energy and this feeling of I need to fill my time. Because I'm sure down the road eventually, I will find ways to fill that time, and like I won't have an abundance of time anymore. I won't have this luxury of time. So I guess I told myself, just embrace it. And I was like just crazy and productive until I fell asleep, literally. Like I always talk about how I had just moved into a new place early in my sobriety, and so I was doing yard work, I was doing house projects, I was cleaning, I was going to the thrift stores, I was doing like art projects, I was online shopping. I don't recommend doing that because my last episode was transfer addictions, and a shopping addiction is a very easy one to pick up after you give up drinking, but that's another story. Anyway, yeah, so I just kept myself so busy, and anytime that I was bored or I thought, man, I don't know what to do with myself right now, I went on a walk. Walking is therapy. Walking is my medication. Walking is everything. And yeah, not to put such a simple thing on a pedestal, but like it really is incredible for people who are quitting a substance. It is great for your physical health, obviously. Who doesn't like a little 10K steps and staying fit? It's good for your cardiovascular system. It's good for your joints. It's good for everything. Walking's great physically, of course, but mentally, walks are so good for you. I swear I'll be stressed about something, or like I get in this cycle in my head of like I can't escape. My ex-boyfriend that was awful to me, like 2 boyfriends ago, I talk about him a lot. But one thing that he said that was really mean, but kind of valid, was that I'm like a pit bull where I latch onto something and I don't let go. First of all, rude, but also semi-valid, if I'm being honest. So I'll get annoyed by something or get on a topic in my head or something I said to somebody or something somebody said to me, and I just fixate on it. And it just goes round and round and round in my head, and I can't get it out of my head. And what I've realized, well, I should say, the old me would just drink, and then that would make me stop obsessing over stuff. Alcohol was the quick, easy Band-Aid fix. Not the healthiest Band-Aid fix. If you want a healthier Band-Aid fix, walks. That's what I'm trying to say here, is that when I am hyper fixated on something and I just can't seem to shake it, I cannot let go of whatever is bothering me in my head, I tell myself, if I go on a walk, I will feel better. And sometimes you're thinking, a walk is the last thing I want to do right now. Like I'm so stressed. I'm so overwhelmed by this thought that is consuming me. Why would I want to go on a walk? But then you do go on a walk, and the proof's in the pudding, baby. Like after a walk, I always 100% of the time feel better, to the point that now, even if I really, really don't want to go on a walk, I tell myself I will feel better afterwards. And so that gets me to go out and do the walk. And recently I've been doing walks with no music, no podcast, just like walking and looking around, and my thoughts are a podcast in themselves. Oh my God. Sometimes, yeah, the voice inside my head is very active. But anyway, if you are going on a walk to clear your head, you can do it with no music and just think. You can have your notes app on your phone at the ready to write down thoughts that come to you. You can pop in a podcast. You can pop on music. We all know our options for what to listen to on a walk. I suppose I don't need to list those out. Anyway, walking is really, really great. So if you're dealing with this boredom during your adjustment to the gift of time, just go on so many walks. It doesn't matter that you've already been on 3 in that day. Go on a 4th if you feel yourself getting bored and kind of restless in your home. So yeah, a lot of people look at the abundance of time as a negative thing. I now, as almost a year sober, I look at the extra time as such a blessing. I feel that I get to live like 3 lives in one day. It's so special. And it really saddens me that I used to throw away my other 2 lives. You know what I mean? Like I would just drink through the entire point of life. Like the point of life is not your work. Your work is supposed to fund your life and your interests. But I would work during the day and then drink away the rest of my life. So I was just nothing. I had no hobbies, no interests. There was nothing really to me other than drinking and my job. And I wasn't even, my job was so, I don't know, not closely monitored. And it was just so loose. And so, yeah, the order was definitely drinking and then a little bit of work, you know? So anyway, what I'm trying to say is drinking is not a lifestyle, so kick that one out. Work is not a lifestyle. Like, yes, you can have your passions and want to do good at your job, do well at your job. You can want to grow within your company. You can want to start your own business. Those are all great goals. But your like work is not you as a complete human being. There's also the physical activities that you like to do, the arts and crafts that you like to do, the people that you like to spend your time with, the scenery that you like to be surrounded by, the content that you like to consume via book, podcast, whatever, TV shows. Like there is just so much more to life than going to work and then coming home and drinking the rest of your life away. And the weekend is not the only time that we get to be our full, complete selves. There are a lot of hours every weeknight that we can spend however we want. And that is such a blessing. It's actually wild when you think about, like, I'm just going to go through, this is my personal experience. So, I can only speak to that. But what I've been doing lately, I log on to my work at 8 a.m. So before that, I go down to the cafe from 7 to 8 and I edit my personal work, be it social media videos or podcasts or whatever. So I start the day with work for me, which makes me happy. So that like fulfills me. I'm not immediately going to work for somebody else. I get to work for myself for the first hour of my day. And then I clock on to my quote unquote job. I work remotely, so I get to mix in a little bit of my own work throughout the day. But after that, I clock out around 4 o'clock, usually. And then it's me time. And having just moved into this new apartment, there's so much to do. So, from 4 to 6, I'm building a table. From 6 to 7, I'm grocery shopping. From 7 to 9, I'm doing a paint project. From 9 to 11, I'm recording a podcast episode. And 11 to 11:30, I'm watching my show before I fall asleep. That's so many lives in one, I feel like. And not to mention, like, when you make plans with other people, your friends, your family, like, it's crazy how much you can pack in a day. And I don't want to cause any sort of feeling of guilt if you're not doing a million different things in one day, okay? I don't do all of that every day, okay? There are some days that are more relaxing, and that's totally fine. But it does make me happy to fill my day with a lot of activities. To me, that helps with not feeling bored and restless, and I'm using the abundance of time to my benefit, to get to live a happy life, one that fulfills me, to do better in my personal projects, and to do well in my career. There are just and to stay fit and to eat healthy. And I don't even know where I was going with that statement, but there are just so many different avenues of life that you can conquer in one day. And sobriety gives you that. Not everyone has that, okay? Look at that as your freaking superpower as a sober person. Like, if you notice a lot of the people in your life who are drinkers and how they spend their time, I mean, me personally as a drinker, it was a lot of drinking at home, but it was also when I would go out and socialize or leave the house, it was going to bars or someplace that served alcohol. That was my life. that's why I thought I couldn't get sober either, is because alcohol was so ingrained with my lifestyle. That was me. Even when I've thought about starting various businesses and stuff, my mind always gravitates to alcohol because they say choose something that you're really, really interested and really passionate about. And at the time, the only thing I was passionate about was alcohol. It was crazy. Look around and notice in your kind of circle, if you have drinkers in your circle, which you probably do, they waste a lot of time. And I'm not trying to speak down to anybody, to each their own. They probably have better relationships with alcohol than some of us do. Good for them. Notice how they spend their time. And they're out at bars, they're drinking, they're in the pursuit of alcohol. Everything kind of revolves around booze, and there's just less you can do with life when such a large chunk of it is spent on this substance. Not to mention the financial aspect of it, so much of your money is spent on that one substance. You are given also the gift of money, cash money, baby. When you quit drinking, I find ways to spend it pretty easily, so it's not like I'm saving a ton of money. My Nick's ice cream that I talk about apparently is $9. I've never even looked at the price. What a blessing. But to me, in my mind, I didn't have to calculate. I didn't care how much the frickin' tub of ice cream was when I'm not spending hundreds a week on booze. So I didn't even care, or I didn't care to look at the price tag, but apparently it's expensive. Having the gift of time is just kind of a wild ride in sobriety. You love it sometimes, you hate it sometimes, but I gotta say, if you stick it out, it's all love. Life is meant to be lived. Not to be too cheesy, but life is so good and is meant to be experienced and lived, not drunk away. Literally, I drank my life away every single day, which is so sad for most of my 20s. Yeah, and that was a choice. Okay. No regrets. Just kidding. I regret that a lot, but yeah, I've changed it now, so what can you do? By the way, I'm turning 29 today, the day that you're listening to this, June 10th, or you might be listening at another time, but on June 10th, I turned 29. Anyway, who cares? What I'm saying is that I still have one more year of my 20s. So I didn't throw away my entire 20s. All right? Yeah, I threw away a big chunk of it. I made some mistakes. I went down some paths that I'm not proud of. I wish I could change it, but I can't. And I do believe that all the choices that I've made thus far have led me to where I am today and the person that I'm meant to become. And so I'm not mad at myself. I'm not beating myself up too hard. I'm doing just fine now. So whatever happened has led me here, and I freaking love my life. So thanks to alcohol for ruining my life so much that it led me to this beautiful life of sobriety. What I was saying was 29. I'm turning 29, and so I'll get one more year to turn around my 20s. I got sober June 20th. So I've spent almost the entire 28th year of my life sober, and I'll spend the entire 29th year of my life sober. So that's 2 good years in my 20s that I will be proud of. I'll be becoming a better person. I'm hoping that I'll be the hottest I've ever been at 30, even compared to when most people are gorgeous at 19, 21, 23, whatever. I was drinking obscene amounts of alcohol at that age, so I'll be better at 30. But anyway, got a couple great years of my 20s left. I didn't throw it all away. And even if you got sober at 52, you didn't throw it all away. You still have time. And you shouldn't look at your prior years as negative because they've led you to where you are today. The amazing version of you that you are becoming. So whether you're 22 or 72, you got sober at the right time for you, and your life is about to get amazing. And there's more life to live. Things are only going up from here. So thanks for tuning in to today's episode, and I will see you on Thursday for the next one. Bye.